You do see is there's randomly always these like bird exhibits in random places in Disney. And they have big signs that say, do not feed the birds. And the reason they say do not feed the birds is because if you try to feed them, they wouldn't eat because they're not real.
When birds poop on your car, that's like a tracking device. And they're tracking you.
That's a new one for me. A flock of robins that came literally just out of the sky and landed only on my street.
The reason why birds hang out on power lines is because they're charging.
They're charging, yeah.
So welcome to Tinfoil and Tan Lines. We are both really excited for this interview. This is a topic that I think is new to both of us, so I don't know too much about it. So you're going to have to just...
I mean, I don't know if I know a lot either, but...
Okay, well, you're going to know more than us, I hope, because I know like nothing. But yeah, just introduce yourself, and we can just jump right into the topic from there.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. My name's Shrila McFadden, and I currently run my own business, an AI agency, as well as work for Equifax doing sales for them. And I am a conspiracy theorist at heart. I am a recent, new to the conspiracy theory world. I was at first just believing everything that was kind of coming to me because that's kind of how I was raised and what I was taught. Yeah, I started kind of diving in, doing my own research and realizing that maybe what they're telling us isn't all true. And maybe there's things that are going on behind the scenes that we know more about than they want us to know about. So yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about what's going on in the world.
Well, you're definitely amongst like-minded people. We're definitely all into all the conspiracies, leaving no stone unturned. So yeah, we'll jump into this topic, and that is, if it flies, it spies. Birds aren't real.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this particular conspiracy theory? And
I think it kind of just happened. So I started noticing things with birds. I was now, just disclaimer, I don't think that all birds are fake. I do think there are real birds, and there are very beautiful birds that are out there that I think God put on this earth for us to enjoy. But I think that there's been a manipulation of this flying creature that can move around, it's agile, and it has eyes to see. So I think what kind of came about was there was some birds sitting on my fence one day, and they were not scared. They weren't I went out there, let the dogs out. They just sat there and they were just staring. And I was kind of like, this is really weird. So from that point forward, I started doing the research into, are birds real? Or are they all fake? This whole rabbit hole of birds are not all real.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So you had your own experience in your yard, and their behavior was so odd and unrealistic, right? Because most birds are skittish.
Yes.
So that's what sparked the thought.
Yes.
And then when you researched it, were you like, whoa, people actually are saying these things and believe this? It's a real theory.
It's a real theory, a real threat to society.
Sure.
So I started to realize that, okay, I'm not the only one that has this opinion. I started talking to people and realizing that, okay, maybe this is legitimate. And then there was another experience at my house as well, where there was a flock of robins that came literally just out of the sky and landed only on my street. Nobody else's street. The street behind, all the houses behind, no birds. Houses on the other side, no birds. On our street, just all these robins. And they were landing on the roofs across the street, on my roof, neighbors' roofs, and fence lines and this and that. And then they were there, just all sat for there was a lot of them. And they just sat for, 15, 20 minutes. And I thought, what is happening? This is so strange. And not normal bird characteristics, right? That's not normal. Birds don't just all go to one street and one side of the street, right? So it was kind of that's when I was like, this is really real.
Were they perched on different things, like trees, the ground, rooftops?
Yeah, so there'd be
everywhere?
5 in a tree, 3 on a roof line, 4 on the fence, and then they were just there. And then they were just gone.
Huh.
Left all together. And then there was no birds in sight. And I was like, It was also a weird time of year. I remember thinking, and I had texted Callie actually, and I said, "Is this weird? Like, is this are birds supposed to be out? Like, is it mating season or like not mating season? Like, are they all hatching out? You know, and they all came out at the same time, and we're like, no, like this is strange. But that's when I was like, okay, so what's going on in the world? What are they trying to find out? What are they watching? So.
Yeah. And also, I remember you were like, there's no bird poop anywhere.
Yes. I forgot about that part.
Yes.
Yeah. There was no bird poop.
So after the robins came and went, you went over and there was like no bird poop.
Yeah. There was no bird poop.
That is weird.
And yeah, there's like, you just wouldn't have known.
They came, they watched, they left.
Literally.
Wow.
But speaking of bird poop, you told me, Corey, something really funny about bird poop that I didn't know.
Well, in my little bit of research I did into this, I read that some people believe that when birds poop on your car, that's like a tracking device and they're tracking you.
That's a new one for me. I haven't heard the poop theory.
Like, I don't know about that.
Shrila's already like, Christine Carr is going to be going to the car wash twice a day.
Yeah, I could see it. But I don't know how intricate these birds are. Definitely cameras, definitely like their eyes are seeing and
so they're like
recording.
robots. Essentially, like a drone with
like
cameras.
Mm-hmm, yeah, like I think they're using it to. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to find out or what they're trying to watch. That's what I don't know. Like, there's different other theories about like what they're trying to figure out, but I'm like, why do they care about looking in my window?
Maybe they're flocking to like the conspiracy theorist house.
They know.
They know what we're looking up on our computers.
Yeah. I just don't trust it. I'm like, when I see a bird, if it acts like an animal should act or a wild bird should act, then I'm like, okay, it's probably real.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're trying to figure out or what they're looking for. Yeah. Like, are you just trying to see me like take a shower? I don't know.
Are you just being peeping toms?
Are you just being creepy?
A bunch of nerds in a lab, like, ooh, let's create these robot birds and spy and all the way.
Like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah. Ew,
what would you say? Creepy. Like the top of the line government bird would be like a pigeon, a robin, like a hummingbird, like
probably,
a seagull.
Well, the hummingbird thing is interesting because hummingbird feeders are normally on windows. And so they're, right in the window of like living rooms or kitchens, normally dining rooms. And so it's interesting to me that the hummingbirds, we have these birds coming right up to our windows and then they just sit there for, flapping their wings at however fast they flap their wings, just sitting there looking in, drinking the sugar water, right? Do I think all hummingbirds are fake? No. I do think that hummingbirds are real. But I also think that they probably have manipulated that because they know that those feeders are in people's windows. Yeah, and again, I'm like, I don't know what they're looking for. But that is my theory on hummingbirds. I'm like, don't put a hummingbird feeder on your window.
On your window. Noted.
Don't have any bird feeders on your property, okay?
I do have those. But maybe I'll take them down.
People to see you walking around in your underwear.
I mean, and I don't want them to, but I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm in my house.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, draw the blinds.
Yeah, draw the blinds. I do agree with you. I think that the government does have this technology. In fact, I was watching a video and it was showing how they actually use the carcass of a dead bird. So all the real feathers, the real skull, beak, face of a bird. And then they put that on top of a bird drone. Mm-hmm. So from a distance, if it's flying in the air, like you're not going to know that's a surveilling bird.
Yeah.
Like, because it's got the real feathers and everything. So that was an actual video, saw them putting it together and they threw it up in the air and they could control it. Yep. And I was like, okay, well, I think there are definitely birds out there that they can be using for this. And the CIA, for example, I think there was declassified files and I think it was 2019, so not that long ago, about how they were using pigeons during the Cold War and they fitted them with cameras and they taught them how to go and take pictures so they could spy on the enemy. So that stuff is real.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you think about all the tactics that we use at war or in the military to spy on, our enemies. And it's like birds are one of the best ways that they can do that because they can surveil from an aerial, think about a hawk or an eagle. They just, hover. And to be able to use that to our benefit with the cameras to be able to get the information or intel that we need, that makes sense to me from a bird, using a bird as a drone or a camera spy, whatever. That makes sense to me. So I'm like, if they're doing it there, then I definitely can see that they're probably doing it in other places too.
Disney just, like, I saw a video that Disney
was gonna
came
bring
out.
that up.
Yeah. And, like, literally, like, go behind the scenes and show how they're making these robotic birds that are listening and watching.
Because all this, so there's
like,
no
in the park.
security,
In the
there's no
park.
security cameras in any Disney park.
Really?
So if you look around, there's not like poles with security
That's
cameras
true. You
staring
don't
at
see.
you.
That's so
You don't
crazy.
see
I
it.
never noticed
But what
that.
you do see is there's randomly always these like bird exhibits in random places in Disney.
Mhm.
And they have big signs that say, do not feed the birds. And the reason they say do not feed the birds is because if you try to feed them, they wouldn't eat because they're not real.
They just,
We
like,
should go to
peck at the
Disneyland
bread.
just for that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and feed them.
But
and see
like
what
birds
happens.
will walk around too. These weird birds are walking around Disney. You're like,
Interesting.
oh, you're in Florida, California, wherever. And you're like, oh, like, this is an interesting bird. It's just walking around. Like, don't get near the bird. Don't touch the wildlife. Okay. But it's a camera. It's just watching, right? It's recording and
Creepy.
making sure.
Well, I could definitely see Disney having birds in trees, right? Because they have all those trees everywhere. They could probably put, a fake bird perched on a tree, and that's a camera.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
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 Ew.
So there's a whole video too now that they actually just released about that.
Really?
Showing the workers making those birds in this like big facility. Similar to what you were talking about, using the real carcasses and feathers, like they're putting it together to be this surveillance camera and to act and look like a real bird. So for them to expose that, I'm like, so now this level of what they're doing in Disney, like it once was taboo and they didn't want anybody to know. Now they're like, oh yeah, these birds are fake and we're putting this out there. So I'm like, what level has the birds
Probably
gotten
goes
to?
hand in hand with, like, the release of the classified documents of, like, okay, well, this has been released by the CIA, so now we can just, like, tell everyone it's not a big deal,
Yeah, but like then it's like, what are they working on? Like, what are they not telling us?
Well,
Because they're
lots of
always,
things.
What about what about bugs? Like, could they have little tiny bugs?
I'm
Probably.
sure they have bugs.
Yeah.
They call them bugs
Dragonflies.
for a reason, right?
Right.
Like you've
Oh,
been
that's a
bugged.
good point. Even bugs.
Yes.
I didn't think about that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. Like bugs,
So
birds.
crazy.
Who knows
Yeah.
what they're using?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Part of me is like, why are they doing that when we all have iPhones and
They're already
smart
surveilling-
devices?
They're always looking at us. Oh,
Yeah.
and like our TVs,
Yeah.
right in our homes,
TVs are
apparently have
spying on us.
cameras. Like,
yes, they do.
Even
they have
your,
hidden
like,
cameras.
thermostats now.
yeah,
Yes.
Anything connected to Wi-Fi, honestly.
Mhm.
The baby monitors.
That's
yeah.
really dangerous.
It
Yeah,
creeps
shouldn't
me
have a
out.
Wi-Fi.
No, definitely not.
But-
So
Yeah,
bad.
so I'm like,
they-
but what are they trying to? That again, this goes back to the question of, and maybe you have a thought or a theory, because I just don't. I don't have a concrete theory on as to why they're using these birds in neighborhoods, in parks, like where there's children, like in these normal recreational social situations that we're in on a daily basis. What are they trying to get from us that they can't get from that, right? From an iPhone. That's what I just don't understand.
Maybe like patterns, routines, like where do you go every week? What do you do? Like
which society they're going to take out or which city they're going to take out
Maybe.
first. I don't know.
Like,
You know?
I don't know. I mean, are you going to be a threat because you're talking about birds aren't real? Like, who knows, right? I mean,
But they would get that from your iPhone or your
Yeah,
smart
that's
devices
true.
anyway. Or cameras, right? So
I don't know. But I did see too that like Russia came out with this. I just saw the article. I didn't really have a chance to like dive deep to see if it's like real, but I thought it was interesting. But supposedly they have a brain chip that they implant into like the side of pigeons' heads that basically send like electrodes to guide the pigeons remotely for long range surveillance missions across like urban areas. So basically it's like Neuralink, but for pigeons.
Interesting. Well, pigeons are used for all sorts of crazy things, like going back to what we were talking about with the Cold War.
Yeah.
And then I saw videos of pigeons where people found them and they would open up the wing and there was like weird markings on the feathers. So I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
they're used for things.
mm-hmm.
So
They call them
Yeah,
carrier pigeons.
carrier pigeons,
It's
yeah.
like- yeah.
And then there are some weird like rules and laws around birds too. Like you can't have certain birds as pets.
Yes.
You
I
know,
saw
it's like,
that.
why is that?
Ravens.
Like
Ravens
ravens.
pets?
Yes.
Yeah, the ravens, because they're so smart.
Yeah.
They hold grudges.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can't
So-
shoot certain
yeah,
birds.
can't
Like
shoot.
it's illegal to shoot certain or hunt
Those are the
certain
ones
birds.
that are the
like
robot-
seagulls.
Yeah.
You're
You
not allowed
can't
to-
shoot seagulls.
No, not legally.
Really?
Cannot legally shoot.
Sherlock
And you like
has
mockingbirds, right?
Yeah.
Or
So what can we
I don't
shoot?
know.
We could shoot ducks
We
and
shoot
geese.
ducks. Yeah, so
In
those
fact,
are safe.
chicken.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, those are
We can
probably
chop
safe.
chickens' heads off. Yeah.
I think people, if they know people are going to be maybe eating these things, they won't use those birds for their
no one's eating a seagull.
cameras. No one's eating a seagull.
like
They're
the
rats
rat of the
with
sky.
yeah, rats with wings. They're so gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
They're the state bird of Utah.
Are they really?
I thought maybe that's why we couldn't shoot them because, like, the LDS Church had put something out that said you can't shoot because it's like
Really?
representative of their.
Or maybe just because
Really?
there's so many that out of like every 5 you see 2 are drones. So your chances of like
But think about
Anyone
where
down?
the seagulls are, right? They're at all the vacation places you go, beaches. You know, they're always just hanging around.
they're even
They're always by Popeyes
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Always. They are.
What's going down
What
at
are you talking
Popeyes?
about? Why
Yeah.
are they always at Popeyes?
maybe that's a whole
Isn't
nother
that also
story.
strange that birds, like, why are they always in random places? That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure
they-
out. Like, again, like
sure.
the Robin story. Like,
Yeah.
why are they flocking to certain places and then they leave? Like, they're there for a certain amount of time and then they're gone. Or they're like hanging around Popeyes. Seagulls are hanging around Popeyes and then
Maybe
in,
there's
like,
underground tunnels at Popeyes. They're like they're just like monitoring.
I mean, maybe they're surveying. Yeah, maybe that's a front. The Popeyes over there in Fairview.
I don't
Who
be
knows? That's
surprised.
their.
there's underground tunnels in under Mesa Taco that the Chinese immigrants used to use.
Yeah, you
yeah.
can see them all
Mhm.
patched up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh, for sure.
there's tunnel systems everywhere.
Every city has tunnel systems. So
Yeah.
who knows where they
In the
lead and where you
mountains.
could come out of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will say, like, I'm definitely going to be looking at birds. I already did, on the way here. Did I not point out the birds? Like, okay, part of the theory is the reason why birds hang out on power lines is because they're charging.
They're charging. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that is legitimate.
I mean,
Because you think about it, they're standing there 2 feet on a power line. That would connect the circuit, right?
I don't know. We should try it. Is there something we could like charge? Like, why could we just go throw?
Oh,
it
I
there?
thought you meant like you're
No,
going to
no,
go
no,
grab
no.
a power line. I'm like, you can do that.
No, but like, is there something we could figure out that like charges with like, you know, and just figure out how to like.
But think,
I don't know.
because you have to think about it, they probably created something that can pull in power through the feet, right?
Oh, that's
feet
true.
of the bird.
Got it. Like how our phones can lay on those chargers without being
yeah,
plugged
so
in.
it's like MagSafe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but for power lines.
yeah.
Go set
yeah.
our phones on it. Just
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're not climbing power poles. Okay. Callie.
Next episode will
Not
be
us.
out on the road.
Yeah.
could probably find
This might be our last episode ever, and
Yeah.
we'll know why.
We climb the.
We just see
power pole.
Callie
Yeah,
falling.
Callie.
The phone is fine.
Yeah.
She is not.
Yeah.
But you think about it, right? You're not supposed to touch a power line like 2 hands, right? Because it will connect the circuit and you'll get electrocuted.
I've always
Inside of
wondered
your
why
body.
birds never like get electrocuted, and I've heard people say like, "Oh, it's because their feet are like, I don't know,
Something about their feet, really?
they're like wrapped or I don't know, coated with something." Or
I'm sure they are coated with something. I don't know.
we just need to like take a BB gun and shoot one of the birds on the line.
Okay. We could do that.
I used to do that as a kid.
What?
And what, did you ever find anything
They always
weird?
fell in the ditch, so I never saw them.
Oh, you never went and
That's convenient.
investigated?
But I also wasn't like
looking for it?
looking for anything.
You didn't eat it?
A
Whatever you
robin,
kill, you eat. Like that's
blackbird.
the rule, right?
No, not when I was a kid. On a farm, you just
Yeah.
play
Farm-
around with
farm
BB
kid,
guns.
that's what you
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So
are they?
I definitely think, or are they? Yeah, I definitely think that the power line thing is true because it just doesn't make sense to me. Everything that we know about electricity and how it's conducted, it makes no sense that if you close the loop, this bird that has,
Mhm.
a supposedly heart beating body is
Mhm.
not completing the circuit for the power line to shock them.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Maybe the wires were wrapped with like a coating.
Well, I think the wires are wrapped. Otherwise, that
To
would be
keep
really
them-
dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
so that's why they don't get.
Maybe.
But if a person touched it, I think.
Well, aren't they wrapped
it's
in like
fine.
rubber, like a real wire, like the ones you have in your house? Like they're,
yeah, but think
think
about the
they're
amount of
wrapped.
power that's going through those.
true.
And they say don't get close to them, don't touch them. I don't know.
I don't know.
Might be
Again,
the 5G.
Theory.
5G. Well, I've seen like
Yeah.
birds' nests on top of 5G towers, and I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting. Like, don't you feel like the negative
Do you think
EMFs
that,
coming
like-
off of this? Are you just not vibing? Like, I don't get it.
Or do you think maybe like the baby birds are born with like 2 heads?
What?
From like the 5G. I don't know.
might
They're
be
like
deformed
mutated.
birds.
Yeah.
Well, if I see a two-headed bird, I'm definitely going to try to get it.
Yeah. You better capture
It's a
that.
5G bird.
What about those trees that they keep putting, the fake trees that they keep
Oh,
putting
those
around
things that are like so obviously
have you
fake.
seen any
Yes.
birds hanging around those?
No, actually.
Well, there's one kind of close to our house. I don't ever see birds on it. Not
Yeah,
that
I
I've
guess I haven't seen
noticed, but I
either.
haven't really like looked.
Interesting.
You have to start paying attention.
I guess
I
haven't
will.
looked either. I just thought of
Mhm.
that right now.
Yeah, like the fake trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're building them everywhere now.
Yeah, trees aren't real now.
Trees
they
aren't-
and they
trees
are
really
surveilling
aren't
us.
real. Yeah.
Depending on where you live, you have like the palm tree.
The palm tree,
Yeah,
the pine
The pine
tree.
trees, which I don't know why we have pine trees where we're at. It's like,
We have no pine
Well,
trees, really.
there's no
we
pine trees.
do, but
Well, we have evergreens, but
Yeah.
not like the pine trees.
They're
that
not
they
like
make.
I mean, macaw would make
Those look
sense.
like they belong up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
that
we
is
need
true.
like a maple or
Yeah.
something.
That would make way more
a
sense.
leafing tree.
But I guess a maple
leaves
Yeah,
would
but
would
be
then
never
the
fall
leaves,
off.
that's the problem. It
Yeah.
has to be, yeah.
the
Yeah,
leaves are
that's
just like
true.
the same color year round.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
So
can
that
make
wouldn't
fake
work.
birds. They can make fake leaves.
It only makes
They
sense
can
in
make
the
fake
summer.
leaves
that change
that
colors.
actually change colors in fall.
Yeah.
It would have to be like LED lights.
Oh,
That's probably too much
yeah.
money. They don't want to spend that.
Yeah, that would be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see this? It's called Operation Water the Country. Did you hear about that?
No.
Didn't we
You
talk
heard-
about this?
I don't know. I just came across it.
Okay.
So probably not, but you might have heard about it. So I was asking, but it was the operation to kill all the birds. So remember the birds aren't real movement, like how
Mhm.
it started out as like basically like a joke.
Yeah.
And now it's like people are kind of like, no, like this is real. Like
Yeah.
there's CIA classified documents that are saying it's real. Like people are, coming out with all this information. But basically it was just saying that like they killed all the real birds and replaced them with decoys to surveillance the people. And so I don't know. I feel like
Who was saying that? Like the article? What's it?
I didn't write his name down. I'd have to go back and find it.
Okay.
But he was like, he worked for the CIA. He was in
Oh.
charge of destroying all the evidence, he said. But again, like, who knows if this is real?
Like all the birds, though? I feel like our entire like ecosystem would fall
That's what I
apart.
was
You need to have
saying.
real birds.
Like, bugs would be out of control.
Bugs would be out of control. I don't think flowers bloom without the sound of birds, things like that.
Yeah.
Like I think they're very interconnected to everything.
I
So
think there's real birds.
there's got to be real birds.
There's gotta be
And,
real
I mean,
birds.
I see them. If you see one hit by a car, like
It poofs.
there's,
Yeah.
like it's clearly a real
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
So unless they just make them that good, there's
Fake
like
blood.
fake blood.
There's like a little pouch inside.
Like
Yeah.
full, yeah. Like Hollywood,
Yeah.
movie magic.
I don't know. I mean, I do think, again, like I said at the beginning, I do think that there are real birds because I think it would be, that seems a little extreme.
That's
all the birds
extreme
are
to
fake.
me.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of birds are fake. I think probably 75% of the birds we see are fake.
Really
Maybe
that
more
many?
so like in the
Wow.
city versus like
Oh, yeah.
out in the, like, let's say you live in Wyoming
Yeah.
or something
I
like
mean-
where it's less populated. I wonder if there's like,
Yeah, because why would you need the surveillance birds in the middle of nowhere?
yeah.
Yeah, you'd want to be like in
Yeah.
the cities, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying,
Yeah.
like when they all come into your neighborhood and
Yeah, and sit on one street.
yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
They were in the road
And
too.
the
Well, I've
weirdest
never
part was the
seen
no
robins
poop.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never
and
seen.
there was no poop. That was the thing. They were in the road. I forgot about that. They were in the road, like, as well. And that's when they all left. Well, when they all left, we went out. Like, there's no bird poop anywhere.
Mhm.
It was like not on anybody's cars. Nothing. It was
fences.
like
Yeah, that is weird.
yeah. I've actually never had bird poop on my fence. Now that I think about it.
Really? That's because I
I
poop
do.
on
I
my
get-
side.
I get-
Okay.
I was gonna say,
No.
yeah, they're next door neighbors. So you guys would know.
Yeah. You attract the birds. Yeah, bird feeders.
No,
out
it's
there?
the problem. They're all looking in your window.
Yeah.
So the backside of them is on her face.
I'll take the poop over
So
the
she's gonna be
spike.
on the poop.
But one time, Callie and I were hanging out, and we were in her upstairs, and there was this bird across the way, and it was just sitting there staring at us. And Callie's like, "Do you think that bird's real?" And I was like, "No, I don't." It
There
was just
one that
staring.
Do you
would
ever
just
ask
sit on the
it?
back of the house, like the
Yes.
neighbors behind us. They would just sit on their house and like not move.
It was just staring.
What kind of
was
bird
just-
was it?
It was blackbird.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a blackbird.
So
Uh-huh. Oh, that is
Like-
weird.
I would say I'm 100% convinced that there's obviously birds that are watching us. But yeah, my question is why.
yeah, I mean, and with AI too,
should
I feel
ask
like it's hard to like even
I should.
know. Like, Ask the birds why.
Well, I don't know. Like, if
Hey,
it's staring at
bird.
you, or just say something really triggering. Like, well, I probably won't say it on here. I'm thinking something like, just see if it reacts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so, you might have a moment together.
Good. It starts talking back.
Yeah.
What if it attacks me?
It might.
Try to kill
So you
me.
got to be prepared.
Yeah.
The BB gun.
I'll just have a gun. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, anyways, that's kind of my thought.
That's kind of
There's also, along with the bird thing, which maybe you've talked about this before, Callie, but you were saying that you've seen things in the sky that aren't what they appear.
Mhm.
So, like, they are flying one way and then they fly the other way, like in an unordinary fashion of something that could naturally do that. It's probably a similar phenomenon to what's happening with the birds, right? You know, it's like there's probably birds that are flying through the sky that look like they're birds and then they just disappear, or they, you know, are changing directions not like a bird could naturally do. So it really just goes back to like the drones. You know, they're flying around, they're watching, they're looking and surveilling us and trying to figure out, I don't know what they're trying to figure out, but they're watching us, and it's just, it feels like Big Brother is always watching. And and we already know that, right? We already
We
know
live in the
that
Truman Show.
yes. Like, I feel like we live in we're just little pawns that are being, you know, we submit to this society of all of these things that we have to do, these regulations. It's like, we are not free. Like, if we were truly free, like, I can't imagine how that would feel. But like, we live in a society where we're just controlled like little pawns, and we're being controlled by something much greater. And I'm not talking about, like, obviously God is in control of everything, but much greater on this earth that none of us have the access to be able to understand or know. But
Right. Which is kind of why we like to talk about it, just like bring things like this to the light to be like, hey, like, we can't prove this, but this is our thoughts on it. And we're just kind of going to talk about it and see, you know, where it goes.
don't live in a bubble thinking that everything you hear is true, for either what we're saying or what other people are telling you, right? Do your research on your own. Take your real life experience and start noticing things. Like, be aware, start noticing. And that's a thing that I think I've come to realize in kind of coming into this conspiracy theory realm of being like, oh, like, maybe some of these things are true. You start to notice and you're like, oh, like, yeah, that is not real, or that is real, whatever it is. And so just being aware and observing and noticing is something. And a lot of people are just day by day, oh, I just go to work, I get up, you know, it's like they're just letting this life control them. They're not actually like taking control.
Right.
And that's what I feel like.
You're kind of just sleeping, like you're asleep. You're just going through the motions, you're on autopilot.
Or you're choosing to be ignorant because you're scared. And I understand that, because there's a lot of fear in realizing maybe everything you've been told or taught isn't real or true.
I know.
And so I understand from ignorance is bliss. But for those that are like, you know, wanting to like take control of their life and, you know, live their life to their fullest, I think that noticing and observing is the number one thing you can do. Even if you don't believe it's true, it's like, at least just notice, or at least, you know, entertain the idea to see, like, then you can say, oh, no, I don't believe that, or I do think that, and for whatever reason, right? So, yeah.
I love what you said. No, I 100% agree. It's like kind of like being, you know, in the Matrix. Like, you know, just open your eyes to things that are around you. Just people are just unaware. Like chemtrails, for example, have been over our heads for years. They're so obvious, and we didn't even notice because we didn't look up.
Right. I thought they were pretty when I was a kid. I was like, look at that plane making that, you know, thing in the sky.
I didn't even notice them. So you noticed them, but you didn't realize.
I lived on a farm.
I'm older than we're older than Shrila, but like, do you remember like the jets would go, but then like they would disappear after,
like a contrail.
They didn't
different.
Stay. Yeah, but I did see Disney, going back to Disney, because you know it's a hot topic
always.
This guy was paid like a ton of money to go back and edit the videos and put chemtrails in the sky.
Yes,
like
I
old
saw that.
Disney movies to go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have the original ones, like hold on to those, because they're going to try to like make you believe like, no, it was always there. Kind of like they did with the Fruit of the Loom and the
like
Cornucopia.
the Mandela effect kind of thing. Yeah, I swear. Okay, you know what's interesting about that is I learned about that several years ago. And when I did learn about it, I actually remembered having things happen to me like that, where like being in the grocery store, there were certain brand names that I could have sworn were spelt a certain way. And I remember shopping and I was like, what? I remember looking at it like, was it always spelt this way? And then I never thought more about it. And then I ended up finding out about Mandela effect and how they're changing things like this, like silly things, like a logo or the spelling or like a certain line in a movie, like very subtle. But I was like, oh my gosh, I've had this happen to me. And there are some really big ones that the majority of people all have the same memory of. And yet you go back and it's like there's no evidence of that memory.
Yeah.
Like, how did they go back? So to your point with the chemtrails, eventually, if all of the original tapes are gone, there'll be no evidence of what it was prior.
So it goes back to what you were saying, like, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Notice.
Yeah, just pay attention. Notice.
Be observant.
But
yeah.
But it's funny because it's this mind trick, right? Like, you think about whoever's above controlling this environment or this game that we're playing, or they're playing with us as the pawns. They know psychology really well. Human psychology goes to your brain is going to try to make sense of what you think you saw or you didn't see, right? You know, you look at brain games that you play, things, it's like, what color do you see? It's like, red, blue. You know, your brain will try to make sense of either something that you've heard. So if everyone's telling you that circle's red, but you're seeing blue, you're going to say it's red because it's like the human psychology just does that, right? Or if they put, I don't know if you've seen the two circles they put on the screen and the guy goes, okay, which circle is bigger, A or B? And, you know, he goes, okay, how many people thought A was bigger? And people raise their hand. How many thought B was bigger? They all raise their hand. And he goes, they're the exact same size. Not one of you had a brain of your own to speak out and say, I can see that they're the exact same size. You know,
kind of like the sun and the moon.
So like the sun and the moon are the exact same size.
So it just goes back to like your human mind will try to make sense of it and revert to whatever you're hearing and whatever's being, you know, given to you. But whatever you're being fed.
We're easily fooled.
So So to your point about the chemtrails, adding them in, people are going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, like you're right. Like you're right. That must have always been there. Like they're not going to
notice.
I just didn't notice.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's so true.
No, but like even just like if you own movies that show that like, okay, there's nothing in the sky or whatever it may be, like that just goes back to like everything nowadays streaming. Everything nowadays is digital. Like you really own nothing. Like the agenda for 2030 of like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it is like in play, you know? And so I've started like buying DVDs again, like for movies that I really like for my kids and stuff. Like I'm going to actually I'm not just going to buy the digital anymore. Like it's nice because you don't have to store it, but I'm actually getting like hard copies of things again. And I feel like people are starting to do that. Like even with pictures, like a lot of the old cameras, like you see like the Polaroids and like cameras are coming back where it's like, it's not digital. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're super cute, but they're like kind of like retro, but they're just like old school. Like they don't have a screen. You just point and click and then you hook it up to your computer and then you download them to see what you actually got pictures of. So like, I just think it's interesting how we're going backwards and people are like, I want to be a farmer. I want to own farms. And it's like, that's where we were before the Rockefellers were like, no more farming. We need workers, you know? And so it's just interesting to watch things like kind of.
The pendulum is swinging back.
Yeah. I think because more and more people are starting to notice. Like, and realize, and like, it's created an effect of like, Well,
I feel like our generation, I mean, my theory is because of the internet and our social media, you know, we're able to connect on that level. I think that's why we've gone to this point because people are able to communicate on a mass scale and have these conversations. And there's so much information that's at our fingertips. Or before, like you weren't walking into the library and pulling out books to research, you know, a random topic. Most people weren't doing that. Now it's just all just right there in your pocket. So as much as the internet's, you know, kind of a bad thing, it's like a blessing too for that reason. So I think, you know, the veil is being lifted for sure. And people are opening up their minds and their eyes to see. And we can all attest to that in our own lives. Like I know we're all there and we're, you know, willing to be wrong and willing to know that, hey, we might have been lied to about this and that's okay. And it's not your fault. But ignorance is bliss. But only for a time, you know. You need to have knowledge, because knowledge is power, and you need to know who your enemies are.
Mhm.
You know, so having said all that, I mean, yeah, I'm totally open-minded to there being birds that are surveilling us. Like, who knows? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Seems very plausible to me.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely now be aware. Like, just
Now-
on the drive over here,
Now
like
you're
I
gonna go
said.
shoot a bird.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My son just got back from duck hunting this morning. So, yeah,
You go
they were
inspect
real
the birds.
ducks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you check it for microchips?
No, I didn't see the dead duck, but I'm good.
That's the thing too, is also like you think about all the movies that were created back in like the 80s and 90s, right? Like these like futuristic movies of like spies, like even like Spy Kids, like just like stuff that like had these futuristic like things in it. I'm like, they actually probably weren't futuristic at that time, because I think that whoever's behind all of this is so much farther ahead. They're living 10, 20, 30 years ahead of us from a technology standpoint.
Giving us like a slow trickle.
And giving us, yes, exactly, right? You know, it's kind of like the iPhones, right? Like they've already invented the iPhone 2000, right? But it's like they're slowly, okay, we're on iPhone 17, 18, you know, they're just going to slow drip this technology to us. So it's like everyone's having this like crazy fit over AI. And I'm like, AI was probably totally a thing in the 1980s, 1990s.
I think it was around even before.
You know?
Like I would say even like pre-flood, I would say AI was around.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. I don't know about that far.
Yeah, like, so think about it like as in the days of Noah, right? So like if we were living in times as in the days of Noah, like they would have had to have the information and knowledge we have plus more, I would think. I don't think we've quite caught up to where they were, but yeah.
Interesting. I haven't heard that. I always assumed the days of Noah was referring to like the human hybrid mixture, right? And which is why God had to flood the earth,
right?
Is to save the human race. I'm wondering if that's like the direction, because like that transhumanism thing is being pushed really heavily, you know? So maybe that's kind of.
I mean, nothing new under the sun, right? And I mean, like the book of Enoch, right? Like it talks about the angels that came down and gave the wisdom, what they gave, and all of that. So
that's true. Like the pharmakia. Like pharmacies, drugs, that all came from them, which is
makeup
did all of that. Yeah.
That's a really, I haven't thought about it that way, but nothing new under the sun. So
isn't that wild to think? I mean, and like the fact that they have buildings and structures that are fitted together so perfectly, and we cannot come close to anything like that, you know? Or detail wise, you know?
No, they definitely had more tech. That is for sure. I don't know if it was like iPhone. I think it was probably different than iPhone technology, but like
it was more like magnetic, and lasers, and
because there's big giant stones that are cut with laser precision.
Well, and like even the buildings that are all melted and stuff that you see, like if that technology was around now, like why couldn't it have been around then? Like. You know what I mean? Like they could have easily melted things back then that they didn't want.
So do you think that whoever's behind this took control of that to control the people going forward? The technology back then was pure and used for pure intent, pure purpose, right? To build, to create, whatever, in that example. But so do you think that now it's just been corrupted to the point where it's like used to control us? For example, our iPhones and AI, the answers it gives us, all of these things, like it's just been taken and made bad, essentially, or made evil.
I think it was always supposed to be evil, though. If it was brought down from the Watchers, those
in
were
exchange for the daughters of man.
Yeah.
But I do think, too, that like there's...
But it's like they took it away, and then now they're like...
I think there's like wisdom. Like I think God gives us good things, and I think that like it gets polluted and tainted by like just evil. So I mean, I think a lot of people though are starting to take things back though and reclaim things that have been like claimed as new age or like just frequencies and you know sounds and things like that. Like everything that was kind of woo woo before, like they're finding like science is proving like no, this is actually backed up, and this is like a healing frequency because, you know, of fill in the blank. So I think we're kind of like having our eyes open to these things, and we're actually kind of like, as believers, like taking back what was kind of taken and used for bad. We're kind of taking it back and using it for the purpose it was created for. So
I agree. It's like the New Age movement came in, corrupted all of those things. And the Christian church, you know, shunned all those things. Like you use the word frequency or energy,
Right.
they would think, you were,
creepy.
it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, but who created that? Who
Mhm.
created that? It was
Yeah.
God.
He
It was
spoke,
just perverted for
right?
so long.
Yeah, he spoke things into
Yeah.
creation. That's vibration, sound.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, just like the sun, like God created the sun, but there's, people that worship the sun. It doesn't mean the sun's bad.
right.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
So I do totally agree with that. And yeah, who knows how that translates into the whole technology side,
Yeah.
Like how much was given by God or how much was just created for, sinister
Mhm.
purposes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
God said it was like useless information, right? Like, is what he called it. Like, he was basically like, this is the information that the angels gave you in exchange for their daughters was like useless information. So I thought that was like interesting too. So
That is interesting.
obviously God's like a lot smarter than the angels that
He's
gave
the
us
smartest.
cutting of
Yeah.
roots and makeup.
He knows all. Going back to the vibration thing, maybe you showed me this. It was the if you play worship music in the sand,
Mhm.
that it like has a really cool effect. But you play like rap or some like I don't know exactly what happens. It doesn't do anything. It goes all over the place or something. So it's interesting when you talk about vibration and energy. It's like the vibration and energy of sound has a profound impact on the earth that was created, in a way.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
With that.
And they have like research that shows certain like hertz and frequencies cause different results. Like, I think right now, like we're at what is our hertz at? 432?
432, I think.
And it like has been proven to cause like chaos and
Anxiety.
What do we face right now? Anxiety is like one of the top like things that people are like prescribed for medication for. And it's like all of our music has been changed. We never had like a general, like across the board frequency for a certain sound, but that was changed. I don't know how long, not that long ago, like
80s, 70s, something like that. We'll probably do a whole episode on that because the music industry, I mean, this is a real thing. They went in and they had a meeting and they changed the frequency of our music.
Yeah.
And I believe, is it 440 and 444? That is
444. And yeah.
I think those are the ones that
are like healing
good and healing.
Like your body, like,
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't they? Again, God made music for, something beautiful to listen to and it's healing, but then, of course, they corrupt it.
Yeah.
They figure out a way to do that with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when you were talking about, I forget the name of that, but where they put the sand on a plate or water and the music or the frequency creates like a beautiful, symmetrical, image. Have you ever noticed how like stained glass windows on cathedrals have that same exact shape? And I'm wondering if people do speculate that perhaps they were healing centers and they used, because the acoustics in those cathedrals are perfect. And they have those big organs where the organs created to heal your organs. Is that why it's called that? Like the music and frequency in there,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I would love to get back to that. I know there are certain artists that are Christian artists that are doing all their music in like 4/4, 440 or something like that. Yeah.
I did tell Chris that I wanted to have our piano tuned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you can have them just come out and retune it to that.
Oh.
Yeah. So they say like depending on what you're playing, it may or may not affect it at all. Like it's a certain key you're playing in, but I was like, maybe we should
give it a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't go to my house then.
Oh, do you hear?
No, it probably still will.
It'll probably be louder.
You'll just be in a better mood.
Exactly.
I won't be like,
she'll be sending out good vibes, not bad vibes.
Your anxiety's going to be
no,
gone.
your girls have gotten
She might
much
scare
better.
off the birds.
Yeah.
See?
They might stay
Oh
off
my
the
gosh.
street.
Maybe you can have like little like speakers out in your lawn at like certain frequencies. No, they have those for rodents, and you put them in your outlets, and
Do it
it
for,
just
like,
emits
robots?
a high.
And the birds.
Yeah, do it for robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drones. No plane flies over our house again. No.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, man. That's so funny. But
well, that was super informative and a super fun topic. I'm definitely thinking we might have to be paying more attention to what's in our yard and maybe remove the bird feeders.
yeah.
See if the bird food is gone.
Yeah, exactly. See if they're eating it.
Yeah. Like, and pay attention to what birds are out in which seasons too, because
that's
because birds don't
a good
really
point.
migrate. Like the geese, they never migrate. They
I feel
never
like they're
leave.
always flying the wrong way. Actually, I'm like, wait, you're supposed to be going south for the winter and you're going north. But okay.
Remember, geese are real because we can eat them.
That's
Just
true.
kidding.
Okay.
Maybe
They're just
some,
dumb.
Yes, they're just.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And it was our first guest, so that was really special and fun.
Shrila, bird
Yeah.
enthusiast, expert birder.
Bird watcher.
The bird watcher.
Ultimate bird
You
watcher.
come to my house, you see the shelf of bird books.
Do you want to share like your handle for your business that you're doing?
Yeah, you can follow me at _ the AI Kitchen on Instagram. Just post updates on AI and kind of the trends that are happening because I think, again, that's important to watch and monitor. And I also have an AI agency that helps out with social media and copyright, marketing, that sort of thing. So
Perfect.
Awesome.